Hello and welcome to this new video. In the last episode, I traveled all the way from Shin Hakodate Hokuto station to the northernmost train station of Japan, using only local trains. It took 2 days, but it was honestly a really fun journey. Today I'll be exploring Japan's northernmost station and also visiting the northernmost point of Japan itself. So I hope you'll enjoy the video. I had quite a lot planned out for the day, and since I stayed up until after 1 am last night trying to fully plan the rest of the trip, it was a bit difficult getting ready and leaving the house by 8 in the morning. The first thing I did was walk to the northernmost train station of Japan, which was about 2.5 kilometers away from my accommodation near Minami Wakkanai station. On the way there, I saw some really beautiful buildings, but barely any people. Maybe it was because it was December 31st, New Year's Eve. While preparing for this trip, I packed quite a lot of warm clothes because I expected it to get cold, and that preparation definitely helped me today, but more on that later. One thing that surprised me was that I had imagined this place to be much smaller than it actually is. Wakkanai is a proper small city. There's even a McDonald's here, which honestly really impressed me. Full snow this train. When I arrived at Wakkanai station, I was genuinely impressed. I had only ever seen photos of this place before, but it's actually a really beautiful building. There are also quite a few facilities inside the station, including a convenience store, tourist information center, souvenir shops, and there's even a cinema on the second floor, which was really crazy. I wanted to check whether the souvenir shop sold a keychain with the station sign on it, because I recently started collecting those whenever I visit interesting stations or travel somewhere special. And I think they actually do sell them here, but unfortunately there was a bit of a problem. Because of the New Year holiday, the shop was closed, so I wasn't able to buy one. Outside the station, I also found this beautiful manhole cover. In Japan, many manhole covers are decorated, but finding a Pokemon themed one here with Alolan Ninetales of all Pokemon felt almost too perfect. And yeah, as of writing the script and doing the research, I'm really disappointed by the English name of this Pokemon, because in German it's called Alola Vulnona, which sounds much better in my opinion. I don't know if I can somehow make like a question thingy where I can vote for the better name. If yes, I will do it right now. If not, just write into the comments which name you like more, or yeah, whatever. This is probably one of the hardest Pokemon manholes to reach, but it fits this location so well, and the design itself is just so gorgeous. I genuinely spent almost a full minute just admiring the manhole cover and taking photos. Right in front of the station, there's also a buffer stop marking the symbolic end of the Soya line and the northernmost railway tracks in Japan. But sightseeing around the station wasn't the only thing I planned for the day. There was something else I hadn't mentioned yet. Here in Wakkanai there are two capes, Cape no Shapu, which can be reached on foot from the city and which I planned to visit later, and Cape Soya, the northernmost point of Japan, located about 30 kilometers away. I definitely wanted to go there, but at first I couldn't find any way to reach it without a car. Even Google Maps didn't show me any buses or other connections there. However, yesterday evening, I finally discovered that there actually is a bus running 4 times a day from Wakkanai station to Cape Soya. So I decided to take the first bus at 9:30 and bought my ticket at the station. Once I had finished exploring the station and headed to the bus stop, quite a lot of people were already lining up. And since I also really wanted to get a seat, I joined the line, even though I honestly would have preferred waiting inside the warm station building at that point. The bus rides took about 50 minutes, and even though I'm usually not really a bus person, the scenery and the ocean views were absolutely beautiful, even if the weather was cloudy and visibility wasn't the best. When I arrived, I was actually pretty surprised by how many cars, camper vans, and even tents were there. I can definitely understand why people would go camping here, even in winter, but why doing it in a tent? That's honestly kind of crazy. It was already pretty cold, at around minus 5 degrees Celsius, but that actually wasn't the main problem. The real problem was the wind. I'll show you a clip with sound here at that point so that you can get an idea of what it was like. Luckily, I had dressed very warm because I expected the cold temperatures, but I definitely underestimated the wind, although in hindsight, it makes complete sense considering where this place is located. I was wearing 2 pairs of pants, a t-shirt, 3 layers underneath, a thick winter jacket, a beanie, and a face mask. I also had multiple hoods on and thick winter gloves. So overall, it honestly wasn't too bad, even with the wind. Well, except for the fact that my face mask had frozen over by the end. The biggest problem though was the filming. Every time I wanted to use the camera, I had to take off my thick gloves, and after just a few seconds, my fingers already started feeling like they were freezing. I could barely move them probably anymore and they really hurt. There was also a small shop where many of the people went to warm up a bit, and well, I did the same at one point. I bought a keychain featuring the monument at Japan's northernmost point, as well as a magnet. Standing here really felt kind of surreal. I also visited the northernmost shrine in Japan. After that, I climbed a small hill nearby because I wanted to see as much of the area as possible before taking the bus back. That turned out to be harder than expected though, because the path was completely frozen and extremely slippery. At the end, I spent about 40 minutes there before taking the next bus back. So at this point, if I've not already said it, welcome to Wakkanai, the northernmost part of Japan, or of mainland Japan, of Hokkaido, the northernmost town, I think, or city or whatever. This is a pretty famous area here. I'll take a few pictures, explore around here a bit, and then luckily there are not so many people here, but like cold. I mean the temperature's not the problem, it's like minus 4 degrees. It's okay. The problem is the wind. At Cap Soya, the wind was so incredibly strong. Like if you would be like standing for 1 hour in this storm, you would probably be frozen to death. Without appropriate clothes at least. I mean my clothes are pretty good, but not enough for the wind. It's a really nice place here actually. I will just speak more quiet, there are not many people around here. I hope you can understand me, I hope you don't hear too much wind. I probably cut out or took out all of the real audio of the Cap Soya clip because it was so incredibly windy, you could probably not hear anything besides wind. Yeah, so I'll just walk to the other side and come back. So in this clip the wind noises were really bad again, so now it's time for me, voiceover Ventus, to explain what real life Ventus was saying. First he was admiring this big ship here which looked kind of nice, And then he was speaking a bit about his future plans, that he wants to go up the mountain there in front. So at least he wants to try it. And he also wants to visit one or two other nice places later. Oh well, yeah, I really have to say the view from up here is really nice. Not only can you see some parts of the city, you can see the wild ocean from here with some birds swimming and the thing we walked through earlier. The thing is, I really hope this video series are turning out well, because basically what I'm doing right now, I'm just recording completely random clips, sometimes without any context, and then editor Ventus has a lot to do with like putting it together so that it makes sense, and getting some concepts ready, because right now I really don't have any concept. And I really want to make the video so that it makes some sense, and that it's watchable. So that will be a lot of work, and I don't know how many videos it will be. Probably like at least 7 or something like that. It will be a lot of videos. So look at that! Look at that! A small snowman. Cute. Okay then. Up the mountain. Yeah, so like I said, I wanted to go up the mountain there, but the road is closed. At least like there's a fence for it, or like the door's closed. There is a small way where I could go through next to the path, and also some footsteps past it, but the sign says stop here and don't go further, so I don't really want to go further and here and do what the people want from me this time. Yeah. Like in this situation at this place, I don't really want to bring myself in danger, and I mean, I bet the view would be great from up there, but it's okay, I can live with that. Yeah, so that's it for now. Since I couldn't walk up the mountain from here, I decided to explore the nearby area instead. Not far away, I found another path leading uphill, so I decided to follow it. On the top, I discovered this beautiful large shrine. I was the only person there at the time, so I took the opportunity to look around a bit and take some photos before heading towards a place I already mentioned earlier in the video, Cape no Shapu. However, instead of walking there, I decided to take the bus, which once again didn't show up on Google Maps. The bus ride itself wasn't particularly special, but I made the mistake of getting off one stop too early, which meant I had to walk a few hundred meters to reach the cape. Normally that wouldn't have been a problem, but the weather had other plans. While I was on the bus, a full-on snowstorm started, and because the freezing wind was coming from the north and I was walking northward as well, the snow was being blown directly into my face the entire time. Needless to say, that wasn't exactly pleasant. So I once again equipped my snowstorm outfit from earlier that day and continued onward.
1,000 stars you see shining so bright to tell the world the night. Don't be afraid, I'm the one to walk the dark road, to fly away somewhere we belong, to spread our wings so no more cry. My friend, the hope is here, let's keep our faith and dreams.
When I finally arrived at the Cape, I noticed something really interesting. The wind was still incredibly strong, but suddenly there was no snow blowing into my face anymore. And when I turned around, I immediately understood why. In front of me there was nothing but the sea. There simply wasn't any snow left to be blown around. Honestly, that kind of felt surreal. After exploring the area, taking some photos and admiring the scenery, I headed towards the next bus stop. Luckily, there was a small waiting shelter there where I could wait for the next bus protected from the wind. And that was really necessary since the next bus would come in like 30 minutes or so. But I was genuinely fascinated by the landscape here. The tall, dried grass, the snow, the mountains on one side and the sea on the other. It was honestly really beautiful. When the bus arrived, there was only one more place I wanted to visit today. A place that was, let's say, very important to me. The northernmost McDonald's of Japan. Honestly, it was pretty funny. Back home in Austria, I barely ever eat at McDonald's. But here in Japan, I've actually gone there fairly regularly because it's really cheap, only like half the price than back home in Austria. And since I once jokingly gave a presentation in my Japanese school about my favorite restaurant being McDonald's, it had kind of become an inside joke since then. So of course I couldn't miss the opportunity to visit this place and take a few pictures. From the outside it looks pretty normal, but there is a sign showing that this is the northernmost McDonald's in Japan, and it even had a drive-through, which I honestly hadn't seen at all until now here in Japan. Inside, however, I was slightly shocked. There weren't any of the usual self-order terminals. Instead, you had to order directly from the staff. Thankfully, that was still manageable, even in Japanese. On the way back home, I once again had to fight my way through a snowstorm, so basically as usual at this point. But one thing I found really funny was that huge snow dunes had formed along the side of the road. It almost looked like a desert, just made out of snow instead of sand. So, this is probably one of the last clips I will record here from my residence here in Wakkanai. I did some research right now because of the trains tomorrow. Because like my plan is, I did a lot of like booking and planning yesterday. My plan is to tomorrow take the local line from here, from Wakkanai. I don't know if I will take it from Wakkanai or from Minami Wakkanai. I somehow want to take it from Wakkanai station, from the end station, because then I basically go from end station to end station. But I would have to like walk with my luggage over 2 kilometers, I think, which is kind of annoying. And since tomorrow morning it's probably freezing cold. I think it's already like almost -10 outside, so yeah, I don't know about that. But yeah, so I have to take the train at I think 10:30, and the problem is I think since the train runs for almost 4 hours until I have to transfer, and there my transfer time is only 30 minutes. Usually it's enough, no problem. But the thing is, I don't trust this train. Like, I think I have the feeling it gets delayed really often because there could be snowstorms, there could be just too much snow, there could be wind, there could be deers, there could be like in a lot of things, like trees on the tracks or something, like fallen trees. There can be so many things which could go wrong through the rails through the mountains here in those remote areas. So I don't trust the train. And if I'm late for more than like 20 or 30 minutes, I'm in huge trouble. Because if I miss the next train, or if I miss the train from Nairo, where I have to, I think it was Nairo, where I have to transfer, I won't make it in time to my destination. That means, but I still have a plan B if it happens, I still can take the limited express from Nairo, which means it would be much more expensive. I would spend like 60 euros. I would just like waste 6 euros additionally, but it's the only chance I have, because this time first I wanted to like take to Mora, take the trains until I think it's Tomakomai. Editor Ventus, please correct it if I'm wrong. I wanted to take it until Tomakomai, sleep there for one night, and on the next day just take limited express to Shin Hakodate, and from Shin Hakodate go home with the Shinkansen, maybe stop at the interesting Shinkansen station on the way, and that's it. But my plans changed a bit because I found a much cheaper option, which I think I want to try it out. Because from Tomakomai you can take a ferry directly to Hachinohe, which is in Aomori Prefecture, and I booked like the latest possible option from like midnight, like I think 1 minute before midnight, which means I have, but the shuttle bus, I think the last goes at like 11 p.m. So I have to be there at 11 p.m. in Tomakomai, get at least the last shuttle bus to the ferry terminal. From there I can get on the ferry, and then I spend the next 8 hours or so on the ferry. It arrives at 7 something in the morning in Hachinohe. From there I take the local train to the Shinkansen, and from there I will like do the same as before. The good thing is the fare is like really cheap, and since it's accommodation, because I have my own small private room there and I can sleep there and I still make progress on my journey, it's the best option. As long as there's no storm or anything and the ship cancels and we all die, but I don't think this will happen, or at least I hope so. So these are my plans for tomorrow. I hope everything goes well. I think I will probably explain more in a voiceover or something or whatever. So yeah, for the day, bye and see ya.